McPick for Play Network. Here we are, Rader's Read Along. We're reading World War Hulk today, starting it. So, issue number 1, written by Greg Pak. John Romita Jr. is the artist. Issue number 1 is from, the cover is from David Finch, so a really nice offering right there. There was quite a few variants, but I only have just showing the one. So we start out immediately. This is immediately following Planet Hulk. So we kind of pick up in action because we're following Planet Hulk right away. There is a brief interlude there. That's the prologue issue. So that is, it doesn't really, it's not necessary, but it's a nice little transition. Also another way to buy more money. The beginning kind of runs you down that Hulk was sent to a planet where he could be hurt and burned, a planet full of monsters. They could tear at his flesh, but we all knew that because if you read Planet Hulk, you understood what was going on. But somehow he survived it all. And the worst part about all this problem was he was sent there by his friends, so-called friends. So we pick up with him a big ship coming into view, just smaller, larger, gets bigger, and it's Hulk standing on the front, just busting everything that comes in his way, whether it be alien species, asteroids, doesn't matter. It's Hulk, just breaking through everything. We get right away a nice splash page. I mean, as nice as John Romita Jr. can give us, because I'm no fan of John Romita Jr. You'll hear me say that throughout the whole thing multiple times. So the only time I do like him is when he does a large-scale character like this, like the Hulk. It's pretty decent, but he's not my favorite. So, he picked a target of the Illuminati, which consisted of, as I showed you, Doctor Strange, Mr. Fantastic, Iron Man, and Black Bolt. They decided to make Black Bolt their first target because, well, he is considered one of the strongest people in the universe. Black Bolt is. So they go to make a target of him. They target him first to make a the word is escaping me. Example of him. That was a hard one, I know. So we pick up like at NASA or something, you know, some facility, Aerospace Defense Command. There we go. And there's like, hey, Sector 12, 3 Apple Baker 44. You getting that? And the guy's like, yeah. It's called the moon. So there's someone else, there's 2 guys working. He thinks it's something big, which we know it is. So when Hulk lands, Black Bolt doesn't speak because his power is based in sonic waves of his voice. So Medusa, his queen and wife, talks for him, and she says, you know, you need to stop and leave here. And then Hulk just like, you shot me into space. Killed my world. She's like, stop, Hulk. And he says, never. So we leave from there. Black Bolt whispers, enough. And we see the Hulk just hit with the waves, and sent flying. And then comes my favorite part, because you're reading like, jeez. I mean, obviously you can't think it's over, but you're thinking the Hulk is pretty well trashed. And then in the bottom corner of the last panel of that sequence of 2 pages, it says, I didn't come here for a whisper. And then you turn the page, and it's my absolute favorite thing in the whole World War Hulk. I want to hear you scream. And he just comes flying through. Flip it. We flip over back to Earth. Oh man, there is something large from the Earth. A big chunk of the lunar rock has come off. It's heading towards Earth. So they contact Director of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is Tony Stark. I believe that at this time, so I honestly should have looked it up, but this is from 2007. So I think that's when Iron Man came out. Like the first movie was coming out, or it had come out, so they were kind of pushing Iron Man as a more popular, better option character. Because before this, in all honesty, I don't think he was that great. I don't know how they picked that to start the MCU, but it was great because it worked out awesome. But I was skeptical. Anyway, let's get back to this read here. Hulk's ship comes into Earth's atmosphere, kind of sits there. Everyone's like, cool. And then someone goes, not cool. Once this big holographic image of the Hulk comes up, and he says, I have come to smash. And you should know who's to blame. He tells them it's the Illuminati, what they did. He also says he's survived by his Warbound, which is Korg, Meek, Brood, Elway, and Hiroim. So, if you don't know who they are, Korg is a rock band, similar to the Thing. Meek is a giant bug, cockroach. Elway is a smaller, pinkish, purplish woman. She was another one of the natives of the land. Brood is obviously a Brood, and Hiroim is a shadow priest that was very much like Hulk's queen, Sierra. He talks about how Sierra was killed, the baby was killed because of a bomb, and he's like, and you have 24 hours to get out of this city. And when I return, I want Mr. Fantastic, Iron Man, and Doctor Strange. And if they're not here, he says, I'll do this. And he just holds up a bloody, beaten Black Bolt. So Iron Man's like, oh, I'm on the job. Him and Strange talk, and he's like, you know, he withstood Black Bolt's voice. Do you think your machines can stop him? And he's like, yeah, use your magic. And he's like, he's never been angrier. He has never been stronger. And so Iron Man's like, use your magics then. He's like, nope, we created this problem. We'll solve it. So he's like, well, okay, I'm on that. So the next scene we see is Mr. Fantastic and Iron Man. They're talking to, oh, I forget Robert, but I forget his last name. He's the Sentry. He's friends with Hulk. So they want him to come, and they're going to use him. They're basically using him because they don't actually care about him calming the Hulk down. They say you're the only one that can help calm him down, but they know he's the only one strong enough to stop it. So they bring him in. He's a secret weapon. Yep. And at one point they're talking about who is Black Bolt, and so we get to see Spider-Man, She-Hulk. These are the Avengers, the new Avengers. They're helping usher people out of New York. They stop all the... they're helping this. Iron Man comes and says, hey, I want you to help on our team. Right now, if you turn yourself in after we do all this, you'll get minimal punishment and stuff, or registration. There'll be no punishment. And everyone's like, yeah, F that, but whatever. So, one of the civilians says, who's this Black Bolt guy again? And then Spider-Man says, well, until I saw the Hulk to him, I thought he was the second most powerful guy in the galaxy. And then I love the dude, the regular guy says, guess he's the third now. And so Iron Man pops in, and they're like, who's coming? Who's coming? As he's coming in, Spider-Man says, oh, it's numero uno, thinking it's the Sentry. And he's like, nuts, because he sees Iron Man in this giant Hulkbuster armor. So he's like, well, I'm going to go meet up with the Hulk. So here we go. They collide. It's a pretty good picture. I think this is a decent Romita design there. That's a pretty solid one. But again, it's a larger scale character, so no big deal. The shockwaves are felt around the city. Iron Man broadcasts that it's his fault the Hulk was sent into space. Yes. He's like, everything I've done was to protect this world. So he's like, I just shot the Hulk up with nanites. So, he's going to get everyone out of there, and he's going to do everything he can to save this city. He sends the Hulk flying. And he's like, well, yep, that looks good. Everyone is showing cities around the world. D.C., Texas, Las Vegas, Nevada. Everyone's cheering. Yep, guess that does it. And there's a dude that pulls his sunglasses down, Rick Jones. And he's like, don't bet on it. Today it's going to take more than it ever has to stop the Hulk, so I'm going to stop him any way I can because I know my friend Bruce Banner would want it this way. Well, they send a nuclear strike down on the Hulk. Yep. It's going to take the Hulk out. He's going to take out he's going to take some casualties to take out the Hulk. Hulk's memories start flashing through. He thinks of Sierra. He thinks of how they're together, the warp core, and instead of killing him, it only made him angrier. And there we have it, coming right back into the belly of this super Hulkbuster Iron Man. And they just start bringing down, like, the Stark Tower. It's like just coming down into itself. They're imploding it, essentially. It's amazing. So, fight scene, fight scene, fight scene. Everybody's watching. It's punchy, punchy, punchy. And when it's all said and done, Hulk is looming over top of Iron Man. He won, of course. And that is how we end the issue, with the Hulk with another victory. So he took a victory in the beginning, he took a victory in the end. So I think the first issue started out great. Obviously, like I said, my favorite line of everything started in here. I think this is by far my favorite issue of the book, of the miniseries. I loved the line. I felt like there was enough action to support Romita's art. Greg Pak was killing it at this time on Hulk. I loved everything he was doing. I thought it was great. So I definitely gonna give this one right now. When I read it, it goes down to a 4 out of 5 because the art is enough. It's not great, but the writing is excellent. The fight scenes were fun. There were some great little lines. So 4 out of 5 for me on this first one, and that kicks us off. We're ready to go. Get going on these. Keep going on the World War Hulk. So the next time we come back, it'll be issue 2. So read up, comment up, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks, everybody.